What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to HCS Pro Talk, your weekly Halo esports podcast. This is episode 240 for the week of June 19th, 2022. The title of this episode is Space Station Steps Up, Giving Credit Where Credit is Due. My name is Josh, aka JK Fire, and this week I'm joined by the man with the fresh cut hair, Will, aka I am Mr. Mayhem. Will, how are you doing on this brutally fucking hot Monday evening?
It's a good way to put it. Brutally fucking hot, because that's what it is. My car told me it was 104 degrees on my drive over here. It's been a day. How are you doing? You making it through?
I'm making it through. I am hot as well, but luckily downstairs is a lot colder than it is upstairs because I was going to try to do like a Bane voice, but heat rises, you know?
Yeah.
So, Will, before I may not sound as enthusiastic as I normally am because I want to start off with this.
Yes.
Do you know where you can get chicken broth in bulk?
Dad jokes. What do you got?
The stock market.
Okay.
The stock market.
The stock market.
That comes courtesy of the book titled Exceptionally Bad Dad Jokes, So Rightfully Awful Yet Wonderfully Spiffing. Volume 1.
There's multiple then.
Apparently, my wife got me this as a Father's Day gift. And for those who are OG listeners of the show, then you may recall a certain calendar that would make an appearance on the show. That is no longer a thing. But I said, fuck it. Why not just break this out? So, Justin, I hope you enjoyed. And without further ado, let's get into the motherfucking show. Oh! Speaking of Justin, there he is. Welcome to the live show, everybody. Everybody who is tuning in. Raider Hater, thank you for the Prime Game and sub. 7-month resub total. You get a woo! Burnt Bobane. Great name. Says made it to a live show. Fuck yeah, daddy. Welcome to the live show as well. Voodoo Man Martin Ohms in the chat. Welcome, sir. It's good to see you. And then Goalie Sniper, a.k.a. Justin LaFleche. Welcome to the live show. Everybody who's tuning in, I hope you're having a great night. Will, do you want to know what's on this week's episode of the show?
What do you got?
Halo Infinite issues continue to persist because, duh, another major name enters free agency, one that was kind of unexpected. A couple tournament rule blunders, we'll talk about those later on. And then our topic of organization and player relations. And it excludes a Spartan tweet that I wanted to include, but has since been deleted. So I won't.
Okay.
But I do know what it said. So without further ado, Will, let's get into some competitive news. HCS Orlando and Halo World Championship tickets will be on sale supposedly this week. So, I say supposedly because of the following. This is by Tashi and Riley Hastings. Tashi said literally like an hour before we started recording the show, tickets for Halo World Championship and HCS Orlando Major are right around the corner. We are finalizing a few final details, but be sure to keep an eye on @HCS on Twitter for when it drops. We will release the details, which will include the date for when tickets drop, so you won't be surprised by it. Now, here's an addition. So we tweeted out earlier today, so are they going to be available today? Because that was like what Tashi apparently said. And then he said an announcement was going to be coming, and the announcement never came. The announcement finally came today, which was late, but that's besides the point. So Riley Hastings replied to us. He's on the production team for the HCS, and he said that the announcement will be this week. Slight delay. So it could still be this week. Hashtag Intel. Wait, Ron Bergen Y says, someone in chat that's seen the tweet. Narc so that our gracious host don't get flamed for it. Wait, what are we talking? Wait,
the Spartan tweet.
Oh, the Spartan tweet? Yes. Oh, God. It's, okay. When we get to it, I'll mention it, okay? When we get to it, I'll mention it. Like I said, it's since been deleted. I have it saved. Holy moly, what a fucking nightmare. But besides the point, I wanted to start competitive news off on a good note. Like, tickets are going to be available soon. Fuck yeah. HCS, right?
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into the not so fun stuff. So, Halo Infinite Halo Infinite ranked matchmaking update, or issue for that matter. It has since been updated, so that's a positive note. Okay, we'll keep on the positive here. This is by Spartan. There he is. Not same tweet though. And our man.
Oh.
Unisheck.
I know you're used to it being like way later on in the show. This is early on, you know? Ranked competitive, kind of looped it in together this time. So Spartan said, any info on ranks being broken? I'm matching with bronzes and silvers for some reason. Uni said, yup, we're seeing that too. The team is on the case right now. Stay tuned to Halo Support for more info. And then Halo Support on the 16th tweeted out the following. The Halo Infinite team has resolved issues with online multiplayer ranks not appearing correctly. If you're currently in game, close and relaunch the game to see your actual rank or to continue playing multiplayer. So it just sounds like ranks were just not appearing correctly, but there's that. Let's now move to the not so good. So Halo Infinite recharge glitch needs to be fixed ASAP. Will, have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so this is not good at all. If you crouch on top of the pillars and batteries when they're lowered, so like when they're in the lowered animation, you're technically in a space that shouldn't exist, like with like a hitbox, right? So the pillar like thinks that it's still like the gap from where the pillar is at its top point and then its lowest point, like that hitbox, it's
still there.
It's still there, but it's like the pillar feels like it's still in that spot.
Yeah.
Like it's invisible, so you can stand on it. And when you do stand on it, you can't get shot. You just literally can't get shot. And that's broken. So there's that. And to my knowledge, nobody has said anything yet. Like, I'm not expecting the HCS team to say anything about it, but like nobody on the Halo team, in my opinion, I believe that nobody has said anything yet as of recording and like doing this show live. Shot says, if ranks aren't appearing correctly, then I'm definitely the Onyx player. I know I am. Fuck yeah. That's right. But I think Wonderboy tweeted out something where he goes, in terms of the HCS, like they should be considering taking it out of the rotation immediately until this gets fixed. So it is breaking a rule if you do utilize that spot, but it's there. And the funny thing is, they mentioned it on Reddit. No, can you send the link, please? I'm pretty sure you'll be able to. Wait, can you give him permission real quick to send the link?
It hasn't worked in the past, but I will try.
Please try. But no, please send that link. The other thing I'll say is, well, that's good. That's good context to have. We'll read it on the show if that's the case. My problem is, like, somebody put out a clip, like, so this was by CJ Campbell. Like, CJ put out a clip. Halo Data Hive put out a clip, and somebody else put out a clip, and guess who is utilizing the glitch?
Who?
None other than the greatest Halo player of all time, Kratos.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Because duh.
All right. I wasn't able to give permission quickly enough, but here it is. It was sent to me.
All right, perfect.
This is from Nono in chat.
Thank you. From Nono in the chat. Nono, thank you very much for posting that. 343 has acknowledged the recharge batteries exploit. 343 underscore taxi, a 343 employee, said, appreciate this post kicking up a conversation with some free-to-play leads about this. So, no idea where it's going to come from that. Let's just hope that fucking gets fixed real quick, because we know that the King of the Hill overtime rules aren't going to be changed until maybe next month. But hopefully with an exploit, that can be patched right away. Slip Space Engine. ladies and gentlemen, aka modified Halo 5. All right, and the last piece of competitive news that we have, Trunks, Jeff, great man, leaves the HCS Grassroots. This is by Trunks. He says, no longer part of HCS Grassroots. As it says above, I'm no longer a part of HCS Grassroots. My thoughts and mindset toward the game, Halo Infinite, don't really fit in with what it's all about. I don't want my negative outlook on the current state to influence others to think negatively towards the HCS or Grassroots. I want to be honest about my opinion without feeling like I'm hurting something else in the bigger picture. I can't get on and experience 3v4s, terrible team balancing, cheating, glitches being abused, and more for 6+ months now and pretend that I'm having a great time and that I love the game. I hate the game currently. It's depressing to play, truthfully. Sure, I'm taking myself away from possible opportunities because of leaving, but I'd rather have the freedom of expressing myself honestly without feeling like I'm ruining the rep of a whole group. In the end, the state of the game is not Grassroots' fault, and I have nothing but respect and love for everyone who is a part of it. I just don't fit in with what it's about, and I don't want to have a negative impact on it long term because of the reasons stated above. There are many other awesome Halo streamers out there that fit it better than me. It was a good run, and I'm thankful for the time in HCS Grassroots. And then he replied to somebody in the thread, and he stated this: I just want to make it clear that Grassroots have never required us to be positive about the game. I'm just speaking from how I felt personally. So don't think that others don't actually enjoy the game. I'm simply saying that I do not enjoy it in its current state. Because Trunks gets it. We already know there's going to be people out there who'd be like, see, all these fucking shills. No, people actually enjoy playing the game. Believe it or not, I do from time to time. There are lots of times when that game pisses me the fuck off. More often than not. But there are times where I still do enjoy my time with it. And does that make me a shill? No. And if you think it doesn't, fuck you. Simple. Well, that's it for the competitive news. Ron Burgund Y asks, can you still assassinate someone on the batteries if you jump up, or is it just straight God mode with no answer? Anyone in chat knows? I believe I saw in the clip that they can still be meleeed on it.
Yeah, because you enter that space, right?
Yeah.
Like Spartans can go through that space, just the bullets don't register.
Correct. Now, I don't know if I don't know, because you are literally entering that very small space, so I don't know if the assassination would technically register, but I know that you can melee in there. I saw it in a clip. So, there's that. I don't want to say you can't assassinate. I just have that. I have not seen that. I did see somebody melee somebody in that spot, though. So, there you go. And then Irish Mick, thank you for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Welcome to the live show. Your upcoming tournaments of the week presented by... Oh, wait, but did we do the end of the competitive?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, the upcoming tournaments of the week presented by noobcombo.com. Check out noobcombo.com for all your Halo esports needs. Irish Mick asks, why is Irish Mick literally the best BR in Europe? I don't know. Why are you the best battle royale in Europe? Get it?
Wonderful.
I know, right? Daily... First Blood and UMG daily tournaments are taking place on Monday, June 20th. That's today. The HCS FFA series for Mexico, EU, and NA, not Australia, New Zealand. And the Esports Arena Series E tournament is taking place right now. On Tuesday, June 21st, the Halo Rec League FFA series continues into week number 5. Wednesday, June 22nd, we have the Knights Arena Weekly Halo Infinite 4v4 and the HMK Ultimate Weapon Open. On Saturday, June 25th, the Telespes Japan Kirakuni 4v4 tournament, and I probably butchered that, and I apologize if I did. And then on Sunday, June 26th, the HCS Open Series for Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, and North America. That's it for upcoming tournaments of the week, presented by noobcombo.com. Check out noobcombo.com for all your Halo esports needs. Well, what do we got next? Rostermania!
All right, Rostermania.
Before we get into that, because I'm going to cut Will off like I always do,
Every
Winkler,
time.
welcome to the live show.
Every damn time.
Every fucking time. What you got, Will?
Oh, I'm good now? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Just wanted
You're
to
good
make
now.
sure you
You're
were
good
done
now. Oh, yeah.
with what you need. No, just... Well, the big one that happened, Bubu Dubu announces some free agency here. It was over on Twitter. He said, officially a free agent looking for a team. Technically, I wasn't dropped because all the players on the potential roster wanted me on the team. But due to org complications, I am being left off what would have been the best roster I've ever been on. Not making this tweet for people to feel sorry for me, but rather giving a little insight on the situation. Good luck to my duo, Falcated, with the new team. Hopefully, we can reunite in the future. Interesting. Very interesting to me. FaZe has a new roster that we don't know about then, right?
They do.
Full new roster. So it's got to be Snipe. Falcated stays behind.
Yep.
Bounds being lent out to Cloud9.
Uh-huh.
And Bubu's out.
Uh-huh.
So 2 people are coming in that hopefully can bring FaZe to the level that they need to be at.
Hopefully. Because they're... That's a train wreck, yes, ladies and gentlemen.
It's very surprising to me that Bubu Dubu would be left out of that equation, considering how well he did in Halo 5 through the lull of between Halo 5 and Infinite, and I thought he was doing all right. Personally, I think the spotlight was on Snipe Down so much that I never really fully paid attention to Bubu.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that when Bound was being, like you said, for lack of a better phrase, lent out to Cloud9. And it was known that it seems like Renegade wants out of Cloud9. That and Snipe Down with his Apex stuff. Yeah, it just seems like Bubu Dubu and Falcated were just kind of left in limbo there. Like, what's going to happen to them, right?
Yeah.
And from what Bubu was talking about, it sounds like the players on that potential roster wanted him there, but the org had other plans. So you're right. It fucking sucks because we remember at the beginning of Infinite at Raleigh, and Bubu did not perform to the point of where we expected him to be performing.
Yeah.
And he owned it. And I gave him praise before.
Didn't they say he like stayed behind and played for hours on the stations behind the stage?
Yep. This is the thing. This is why I'm more upset that this is why I'm more upset about a Bubu Dubu situation, because of how great of a, not just player he is, but the mentality that he has. Now, I don't know him personally. I don't know Jesse, but from what I've heard, from what I've seen, it sounds like he is a genuine good dude who wants it. Like, he clearly wants it. And that's why it pains me even more that he's put in the situation that he's put in. It sucks, man. It just fucking sucks. That's all. So I hope Bubu lands on an unbelievable roster that he has an opportunity to flourish with. Because yeah, I just feel, I've been watching him since the fucking, Enigma 6 days in Halo 5? Wasn't he on that roster? That was with, was that with Kratos? I think that was with Kratos. I could be mistaken. That was so far long ago. But like, we've seen this kid blossom in front of our eyes, and I just want to see him land on a top-notch roster because I believe he deserves it. And clearly he puts the work in, and that's the big thing for me.
Yeah.
That's the big thing that separates the good from the great. And I think Bubu can truly be a great fucking player with the mentality that he has. So, it's unfortunate. Bubu and Lucid were a huge duo in 5.
Yes, they were.
It's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. Brian, good to see you. Said, what happened to Bubu Dubu? He announced his free agency, as a matter of fact. And Brian, please, ! Show notes in chat. You can read the tweet that is included there that he talked about. Iris says, do you guys play ranked and how much do you hate it? We do, and
I enjoy it.
It's hit and miss for me. It's hit and miss. I enjoy it more than not. I think there's some things that obviously need work. Fresh, welcome. It's good to see you. Hope you're having a great one. Go ahead, Will.
All right. Post Kansas City Rostermania mega thread. This is again by Matty Rums. We have some changes that took place, some info that was updated. So we'll go through that now. We'll start with Tony Two Turnt. He is a restricted free agent off of G1 now.
Go ahead.
Name from Oxygen Esports is also a restricted free agent now.
So Tony Two Turnt, he was probably just fucking around, but he did reply to somebody about how Kratos like would be able to take that team or whatever. So we don't know. We're just taking this at face value, right? So take it with a grain of salt. It could very well just be trolling, but like he did throw Kratos, he named him out there. So as taking his spot. So it could be a joke, could not be, whatever. We'll talk about it if it becomes a bigger deal.
All right. And then obviously we talked about Bubu. He's on the list as well.
Yep.
Next up from EU, Respectful is now on Ascent. He's
official now.
Officially.
Yeah, it's the most it's the worst unkept secret, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then Shady, right?
Yep.
Is he in the United States? We don't know.
Don't know.
I mean, he's posting like he is.
Yeah.
Or is he trolling?
Yeah,
Who
he's
knows?
posting like he's going to come over here, but we don't even know yet.
Who knows?
So there's that.
Oh,
what'd you do?
All right, no, it's fine.
Better not be fucking shit up, Will.
That's it. That's all we got for Rostermania this week.
All right, let's get into some scrim recaps. I have a couple for you. The first one is on Tuesday, June 14th, Optic Gaming faced off against Sentinels, the full Sentinels roster. And it went 7-5 in favor of Optic Gaming. Now, we talk about it all the time, guys. All the time. Scrim results don't mean anything. They are a good opportunity to get some online practice in, but they just genuinely don't mean anything. You want proof? Go look at KC. Optic won basically every single scrim possible under the sun, and then did not perform at KC. So just keep that into consideration. The reason why I bring that up is because Sentinels have had some not so great scrims. Now we know that there could be some potential lethal complications there. But it is what it is. And we know that because scrims don't mean anything or don't mean nearly as much as what people may think they do, Sentinels literally won KC in dominating fashion. So there's that too. Saturday, June 18th, E United with Bubu Dubu in place of Spartan, as a matter of fact. Now, this is not a confirmed roster. This is not who they're sticking with. This was just a potentially, hey, let's try something out here. Bubu is a free agent now. Let's just bring him over here. We can play a scrim, see how things go. So E United with Bubu Dubu in place of Spartan went up against Complexity, and it was 8-5 going in favor of E United. So there's that. Will, those are the only two highlighted scrims I had. But if you want to check out all the scrim results in your region and or your personal stats, head on over to HaloDataHive.com for Halo statistical needs. Will, before we get into the tournament league recaps of the week, Irish Mix asks opinions on European HCS scene. Want it to be bigger. Really appreciate what Europe Halo is doing for the scene. And I think you guys have some of the best casters in the scene. And like when I say, I mean, obviously the ones that you guys have there, and then those who have like come over here into the main HCS side, like a Shurzy, like a Gaskin, like an Onset.
Get Wonder Boy back up there.
Yep, get Wonder Boy back on there. Phenomenal casters. Just gonna throw that out there. But no, I obviously want the European HCS scene to be bigger. And then also, you guys have, I mean, shit, we see it with Shady, right? These players potentially making the move over to the United States. That Ascend roster is just fucking nasty, and the Respectful Revenge Tour. So there's that. That's what I got. Will, go ahead with the tournament league recaps of the week. All right.
We'll start off with the Halo Rec League FFA Series 2 results. We have the week 4 leaders. In 10th place, where they're placed now. 10th place is Crazed Rock. Tied for 8th is Vicious Vance and Steph Slaps. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
7th, Hades, part P1. 6th is, I'm going to go with Stims or Stim. 5th is Bane, 117. Tied for 3rd is Deedle FPS and Leaf. And 2nd is Golden Guy, 333. And 1st goes to Generic. So I feel like there's some new names in the top 10 that I don't remember reading last week.
There are. And a player or two like kept their spots even though they didn't play last week.
Yeah.
So
Next up, Knights Arena Weekly Halo Infinite 4v4. And fourth, we have CN and Street Runners. Second went to the Turrets and the Lemurs.
Yep.
Okay. First went to Pittsburgh Knights. Next tournament, Star Hammer 2v2 tournament. In third place went to Star Hammer. Second, Bad Team. And first, Original Names. Next up, we had the Kunoichi Women's 4v4 tournament. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Third place, Femme Fatale. Second, Leftovers. And first, Need Eight's Bad. All right, moving on to the HCS Pro Series. We'll start off with Australia, New Zealand. In fourth place was Dire Wolves. This included Bald, Dino, Vamped, and Zirkle. Third went to BBR, ADZ, Brattles, Benji, and Ninjestics. Second went to Divine Mind, Sways, Pips, Plasma, and Radio?
I think it's Rated.
Rated? Oh, with
a W at the end.
Maddie, make your graphics bigger. First went to the Chiefs, Madsy, Beastin, Slays, and Berserk.
Yeah, we blame Maddie.
Yep. I need to zoom in more.
Yep.
Next up for the Pro Series is Mexico. In fourth place went to Cruelty. This included Danny Knight, Dragianak, Reaper Rips, and I'm going to go with Deco. Third went to Leave No Witness. It is...
Oh, God.
Whatever. Strikey, Rorch, and Noble. Second went to CN. Johan MC, Bullet, Guardian, and Magico. And first went to Pittsburgh Knights. Yet again. Tabbing Buttons, Pool, Drift, and Atso.
They cannot be stopped.
They're so good. All right. Out of EU. Fourth went to Blackhand. Lunny, Mista, Ebby, and Glory GGs. Third was Navi, Kimbo, to Foxy, Z-Mighties, and Jimbo. Second went to Online Warriors, Shady, Flux, So Snaky, Mose. And then first went to Ascend, Legend, Snipe Drone, Respectful, and Sika.
Hell yeah.
All right. North America.
Here we go.
Fourth place, Gamers First.
Yeah.
Squally, Swish, Predevinator, and Tony. Third went to Space Station, Collect, Tylenol, Suppressed, and Ace. Second went to C9, Stellar, Eco Bound, and Penguin. And first went to Optic Gaming, APG, Formal, Lucid, and Trippy. I will say I did hear a snippet of Formal on the Optic podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And even he's like, yeah, he said something to like, no, these online things don't count as chips. Like, they just don't count.
No, they don't count at all.
Yep. And he just made the whole point of LAN is what really matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
This is just practice. And it's online practice at that.
Right.
So,
moving on. This was discussed on Twitter a lot.
Yep.
An example of King of the Hill OT rules needing to be changed. In the losers quarterfinals, it was Sentinels versus Space Station, and here's the situation. Once the time limit was reached, Sentinels and SSG had a tied game 3-3 on Live Fire King of the Hill. Here's the current rule. In the event of a tie at the end of the time limit, the game completely restarts, and the first to one hill capture wins the game. Result: SSG got the single capture during the restart. Aftermath: both SSG and Sentinels were wanting a full replay instead of the BO1 capture. Instead, admin followed the current rules of a best of one replay. Members of both teams started being shitters online, as Josh typed here.
Yep.
With this gem from Frosty. Admins preying on our downfall. They're just trying to make us look stupid. Martin Ohms replied with the appropriate response, hopping in quickly to say this is never the case. Admins are just there to enforce the rules. They aren't the ones making them. The current admins are working overtime, fighting to improve the rules and settings for competitors. Beyond frustrating to see stuff like that on the timeline. Would you like to speak to any of this?
Yeah. I want to tell Frosty to shut the fuck up. That's the first thing I want to say.
I get that both teams wanted a full replay.
Yes,
but
it's not
the
rule.
The admins are following the rule sets that were set for them.
Yes.
This is what it states. This is what happens. You also need to move a tournament along at a decent pace.
Yep.
Having a full replay really hinders that.
Yes. So there was now. So that's the thing, right? Is I was going to ask another question here as to what would you like to see the overtime rule to be? Would you like to see there to be like a capture the flag deal where if it's tied at the end of the time, the game restarts for you. Like you don't have to restart it manually. The game will restart for you, and then it's a sudden death, first cap wins. Or would you like it to be like a time continues and the next hill that's captured wins within the same game? So like if, in this case, it's 3-3, time ends, right? Regulation time ends, but instead of the game ending, it just keeps going. The time keeps going, and the first to the next capture wins. Yeah.
What I'd like to see too is if there is a hill up that's not captured.
Yeah.
When the time ends, like that hill moves, right? Like it's a random hill.
Sure.
That pops up because
this is my problem with the way it currently is.
It's a random hill?
Well, no. So like we know, correct me if I'm wrong here in chat, you can correct me too. But like in ranked, right?
You get the pie chart.
The hills are static.
Yes.
So the hills would be static in this case, but when they restart the game, that first hill isn't in a central location on a map.
Sure.
It could be favoring one side or the other.
Right. Like on streets, it's market side, right? Or no, it's B side.
It's B side. Yeah. When the game restarted, it was on B side.
On recharge, it's bottom mid.
Now, granted, like Space Station got the hill, and Sentinels, if I'm not mistaken, were spawning garage. So like Sentinels technically had the advantage, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, that's how it played out. But regardless, I don't like the idea. There's a reason why I like the overtime for CTF, the sudden death overtime, because your even starts when the round starts.
Right. So maybe give it that like bottom mid hill on streets.
Yeah. Fuck it. Something like that. Just make it even.
Where do you put it on
or
live?
Just have time continue.
Do you put it over shield on live fire, or do you put it on top mid? Both very open hills.
So here's my problem is that we're speaking in hypotheticals right now.
Yeah.
And the problem with this is that if we want something changed in terms of, if we want something changed, not in a case of let's just extend the timer and let them play the same game, then we're thinking of changing how hills rotate in King of the Hill, which would probably require more design.
True.
Which I would like. I'm fine with like the game continuing because, as others have stated, like you said, the tournament needs to continue going, right? We can't have a full fucking replay and it be 15 minutes later and we're still behind when pros complain all the time on how long it takes to get through a tournament. And then you have the people complaining, well, I don't want it to be best of 3. It should be best of 5. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just with the amount of teams that sign up. Now, granted, we've had instances where not a lot of teams have signed up. So yes, it should be more, but whatever. Regardless, it doesn't fucking matter. For OT, for the way of making things keep going, I would rather just have the timer continue, same game, and that next hill just spawns up and you go. You just play the same game.
So my question is,
yeah,
it's tied 3-3, right? There's a minute and a half left on the timer.
Okay.
And that timer runs out.
Yeah.
Do you play out the hill that's up already because you're already fighting over it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially if you're, absolutely. The game just continues like normal.
The thing that, so I played King of the Hill in ranked streets. Again, the last hill was bottom mid. We were up 3-2 with like a minute 20 to go. And we said, don't get in the hill, just slay. And we did that. But someone died in the hill of their team.
Okay.
As time ran out, but like the yellow or like the enemy color, kind of comes down. So it went from like 1 to 0 and it came down and it gave them the pie chart. It gave them that extra time
motherfucker
to get in the hill. Now we did slay out and get the win eventually, but it was like, it just doesn't and there's I've seen times where like, it looks like someone's in the hill before it's captured and it just doesn't count that it's contested.
Seen that happen.
So it's really strange, those hill parameters, like what actually counts to being in the hill, because, losing that, because when you step out of a hill, right, like it's the same thing, a pie chart goes down.
Yeah.
So, but your time doesn't go up when that's counting. So does that mean like, how should that count? Because yeah, person died in the hill, but their teammate wasn't there, yet it still extended the time because their little timer was ticking down.
I don't want to blame it on desync, but I want to blame it on desync because we saw the same thing happen in land grab, for fuck's sake, where you would run into contest and then they'd say that they captured it.
Sure.
It's like bullshit. I was in there at the very last few milliseconds is what it felt like, but on my screen I was in there before that timer ended. And it's just fucking frustrating. Winkler says, in all their testing, did they not have a single tie game? Also, this is not the first overtime fix they've had to add. Did they not consider it would happen again? Now, I'm not going to speak for them because I'm not them, right? But Winkler, you bring up not a bad point. You would have to assume that they would stumble upon a tie game at some point in time. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, but it's frustrating because this was now, yes, we know that these tournaments aren't the end of the fucking world and they don't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But the fact of the matter is it was a tournament. It was an HCS ran tournament and this happens, right? Yeah. And you have Bravo and Onset, if I'm not mistaken, sitting there like, okay, well, what do we do? I guess we're just going to wait for the admins to say what's going to happen here. Oh, it sounds like we're going to go into a best of one. All right. And here we go. It's just a really shitty situation. Now we know that it is being worked on. We know Tashi said it. Hines, I believe, has said it that a fix is attempting to come next month. It sucks that it's that far out, but
so what if we meet in the middle? It's not a best of one. It's not a full replay. What if it's like a best of 3 hills?
I still just want time to continue.
Yeah,
I still do. I agree. I don't want it to be literally, unless we can have a CTF situation where the game technically restarts and it's a new round. And since everybody's on even starts, it's okay, where a hill would spawn in a centralized location. But again, that's tough because you have I'm thinking of a CTF. They play CTF on symmetrical maps. You don't play King of the Hill on symmetrical maps all the time, like a live fire.
Yeah.
So to me, it'd be difficult to have that split even start when it's not a symmetrical map. So that's why I'd be okay if they just kept the timer going. Just fuck it. If it's tied and the time's going, then it's next cap wins. And then, you have a time limit in overtime. And then if that time expires, and it's still tied 3-3 or whatever the tie is, then it ends in a tie and that's it. Move the fuck on.
Sure.
In which case, then you get into full replay territory.
To
but
get
whatever.
back into the testing, I don't know if this will ever come to fruition, but
sure.
Even PUBG has a test server, right?
Absolutely.
Flighting.
Yeah.
When they decided to add exploding gas cans or what are they? Propane tanks to the game.
Yep.
They put that in a test server too. Players had access to that.
Yep.
That way they can gather data on what's actually happening. Is the damage balanced? All this.
Yep.
To where I feel like they're pushing things out as fast as they can. So there's not time for these. There's not time for these things to be tested to the public. And I feel like if it gets to a state where it could be, this feedback could have happened sooner. There wouldn't have been an issue in the long run.
Right. We transitioned from having flights to a PTR. Also, Overwatch does it. Hell, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I even think WoW, World of Warcraft had, I know they have a beta period, but I thought they had something even before that. When a new expansion's coming out. But regardless, games have it. Games do have it. It's fucking annoying. But what are you gonna do? They don't play design for HCS. The tie is fine in ranked playlist, right? I haven't played yet this season. I don't know. No. Have you tied in a King of the Hill game yet?
Yeah, I think I have. I think it's just a wash. Anyway.
Winkler says, it's frustrating because when developing any kind of competitive system, this seems like one of the very first edge cases you need to solve. And then No replied with, they don't design for the HCS, which is correct. They don't design directly for the HCS, but they do. I mean, if you think about it, the ranked playlist is a direct one-to-one comparison to what is in the HCS. Hence why you don't have an HCS playlist in the game.
Right. As of currently.
Good point. But yeah, just looking back on the situation, so it sucks the way that it happened. Now people would say, well, both teams, like you mentioned, Will, both teams said that, oh, we should fucking just do a full replay. But no, that's not, no. The admin had a rule in place. That rule was followed. The tournament needed to continue. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in the player's shoes, right? So like I can't convey their frustrations. They did all that online. You can see it for yourself. And Frosty handled it very, very fucking poorly. The admins are not out to get you. Okay? Martin said it himself. The admins are not out to get you. Quit being a whiny little bitch and play your game. Seriously. You think I'm super excited about how this game functions right now? No, I'm not. But don't be a little bitch about it. Okay? I've said it countless times. We say don't be a shitter for a fucking reason. Stop it. I want to move to something positive, though. Okay? I want to move to something positive. And that's Spacestation Gaming in a nutshell. So, was it fucking Ron who said it? Someone said it in the Discord server. You should join it if you haven't already, because will shout it out later on in the show. I'm just going to... Yeah, Ron said it. He says, I feel like this performance was straight directed at me. So, I've been giving Space Station a lot of shit on this show.
Yeah.
Like a lot of shit. And in my opinion, rightfully so. They have not been performing well at all. Wait, hold on. Wow, Irish Mick, that's very mean. You can leave. Jesus Christ. So, as I was saying, Space Station deserves some credit. Okay, plain and simple. Space Station deserves some credit. Yes, this was an online event. It doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but the fact of the matter is they did come in third. They took 2 maps off of Cloud9, if I'm not mistaken, sending them to a Game 5. So that was really cool to see. And the thing to me is that it'd be one thing if it was just a Slayer, right? Because we say it all the time, anybody can win a Slayer.
Yep.
But no, they did really well with Objective as well. Collects probably had the night of his fucking life playing in the Pro Series. Seriously, the kid was just insane. I stand by what I said, though. I can't go back on my opinion of the team. I think they have a lot of work to do. I still think that Ace is probably the weakest link on that roster. And I think the Ace and Elamite brother, one coach, one player thing, I don't know about that in the grand scheme. But clearly they did show up and they shut me up. And I'm happy about that. I genuinely am. We talk about it all the time in the show that we want more competition in this space. The more teams fighting for top spots, the better for every team involved. Sure, you have a lot of losers, which is unfortunate. People have to lose in a tournament. It is what it is. But just seeing the amount of competition that is rising to the top, and we know this is only online at the time, but again, it's about giving credit where credit is due, and Space Station put on a fucking show. Not only that, now here's where a predicament comes into play, right, Will? Where a lot of pros are like, and rightfully so, why can't this be a best of 5? Why does this have to be best of 3, right? So in that Space Station Sentinels series, where this snafu happened with the overtime rule, Space Station did get that cap to win the game technically 4-3, okay, after the restart. And then they proceeded to win the game 2 Slayer. So they took the series to nothing, sending Sentinels packing with a top 6 finish? Yeah, top 6. Which is like the worst they've ever done. You're good, Justin. Don't even fucking worry about it, man. Guy was a fucking idiot, so it doesn't even matter. So it would have been cool to see what could have happened in a game 5, like in a best of 5 series, right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, Space Station clutched up when they needed to. Now, we're going to talk about another series a little bit later on when you go through the rest of the recaps, Will, where there was a rule that was not followed correctly by an admin of Faceit. So to that fucking idiot who got banned, no, I'll call out on both sides, okay? I'm not going to sit here and fucking be all nicety to everybody. No, that's not how this works, okay? Call it out on both sides, bud. There was a rule that was not followed. And Will, we talk about it all the time too, where momentum is a lot. Yeah. Momentum has a lot to do with carrying you through a series. And in the case of what happened later on, what Will's going to mention, the momentum just came to a fucking crashing halt. And the team that got the rule kind of fucked over on them, they lost. Because momentum was basically just taken right away from them due to a rule that was not followed correctly by a Faceit admin. Now, this is why I think it could be crucial to have best of 5 series, because you do have more of an opportunity for a team to come back. Or if a team is already dominating, then they just win the game 3 and it's over anyway. So we did have, for those who don't remember, back in the first split of this season of HCS, they did update it from best of 3 to best of 5. Now, tournaments ran a lot longer, but you had more of an opportunity for those types of series to happen. Hopefully we get to see that again, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Winkler says, HCS aside, Halo is a game. The essence of any game is to compete, to win. I think Halo itself is just justification enough to want to resolve ties where possible. Oh, absolutely. And they're looking into it. They're looking into it. And they said that potentially next month for a fix. So, or an update in that regard. So again, congratulations to, really for Optic for taking that, and again, dominant fashion. Space Station, got to give credit where credit is due. I think you guys played lights out, especially Collect. Played lights fucking out. And yeah, all I'm going to say is that while online is online, I hope you guys ride that high. Look at what you guys did poorly. Look at what you guys did well. Improve upon those things. Fix the things that you need fixed. Come back even stronger. That's what I hope. We have the HCS Super next, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little while away, though. Yeah, fight to Orlando, man. Just fight to Orlando. For anybody that's listened to this part of the show, I just want to say that, yeah, it felt like I was coming at Space Station, and it felt like I was probably coming at them, like, personally, right? I have nothing against anybody on the team. I'm just, based off what I see, right? I have nothing against anybody on the team. And I bet they're all swell people outside of the game. And I want them to do better. I do. I want Pioneers to break out of that 5th, 6th spot. I do. They're always there. I want them to break out of it. Like, just, it would be so awesome if every series went to a best of 5. Every series went to a best of 7. Every team was fighting for that top spot. And that's what we want to have happen. And if this is that step that Space Station needed to take to get to a potential spot there, then fuck it, I'm all for it. Online or not, who gives a shit? The fact of the matter is they showed out. So hopefully this can continue. Will, go ahead.
All right. Next tournament here is a last Lady Spartan Standing tournament. We'll run through them all. In 8th place was Halo Kitten, 7th Candy Bear, 8th or 6th. 6th La Balma, 5th Wave Beam, 4th Money IRL or Money. Anyway, 3rd Savage Giggles, 2nd went to Maple Tree, and 1st Heather to Weather. Next up, we have the HCSE regional qualifier, and we have the top 4 placers here. Mm-hmm. Triggers down, which included Hollers, Oney Nose, Clonely, and Sandal. Diamond Dogs, Hybrid, Bows, Blizz, and Kea Deb. Run It Back as well, Valkyrie, Millsy, Nemains, and Shabby Dagger. And then Death Row, which was is it Bastos, Zeph, Snyder, and We're going to go with Gurko. So there
Sweet.
we go.
Very nice.
So that was the regional. We'll move on to the Open Series for Australia, New Zealand. And fourth was DeQuavius Bone. Third was Final Form. Second went to Direwolves. And first, Divine Mind. From Mexico, fourth was Cruelty. Third, CN. Second, Leave No Witness. And first went to Pittsburgh Knights. And then we do have the qualified teams from the HCS Open Series North America. And here they are: Pioneers, Space Station, Luminosity, G1, BBG, The Hand, G2, and Complexity. And Josh, as you mentioned before, another rule controversy. I'll let you go through this since you know more on what happened.
Sure. So this was Fnatic versus Talentless, Live Fire Strongholds. Here's the situation. Talentless needed 48 seconds to win the game. Okay? 48 seconds to win the game. And Fnatic ended the game abruptly, citing a controller malfunction not allowing a player to jump. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, during a clip, a player can be heard saying, quote, I'm dead. We're going to lose if we don't end it. Listen, end it. We're going to lose if we don't end it. End quote. Then once the game is ended by Envor of Fnatic, this was literally on, like, his POV. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Another player can be heard saying, quote, Jay physically can't play, not able to jump, end quote. None of that was said. So here's my conflict, okay?
Right.
Before we even get into the rule shit, just the potential shadiness of this situation, okay?
Sure.
No time beforehand was it talked about how the player couldn't jump. No time beforehand in the team needing 48 seconds to win, was it ever said that the player couldn't jump? And yet, when they're about to lose and the player is saying, I'm dead, we're going to lose if we don't end it, listen, end it, that doesn't sit right with me. Okay? So here's the current rule. Players are responsible for the functionality of their personal provided equipment. The administration will not grant extra time or accommodations in the event of personal equipment failure. Okay? The result was the admin decided that a replay would occur for the game and that Talentless would need 187 points, where Fnatic would need the full 250. Okay? So how the fuck that works. But regardless, here's how Faceit responded. Statement on Fnatic Talentless map restart dispute. During today's North American Open Series June 19th tournament, in the first map of Fnatic versus Talentless, the map was ended by Fnatic with Talentless in the lead due to a controller issue on Fnatic's side. Due to an administrative error, the call to replay the match was made from the score differential as stated in the handbook as opposed to map forfeit. Our team has been debriefed on the issue to ensure this does not happen again, and we apologize to the affected teams and players. Now, we've had issues in the past where a Faceit admin had fucked up and there was a formal apology that was written and we're back in this loop, right? Now those were different circumstances. This was not the same ruling. Take it as you will. Here is the problem, is that it's human error, right? If I were in the player's shoes, which I am not, but if I were in the player's shoes, I would be fucking furious. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yep. It is a tournament, regardless of how big or small it is a tournament. It is competitive integrity, and the competitive integrity was lost based on the ruling. I mentioned, what the fuck word am I even thinking about now? I'm an idiot. Momentum. I was mentioning momentum earlier.
Right.
Because of this, one of the players of Talentless was talking about how, because of that rule change, that rule decision, the incorrect one, I might add, all momentum was lost from them, all of it. The game was completely ended abruptly by Fnatic, and now they have to do basically a complete restart at that point. It is a complete restart, and Talentless didn't recover. They lost 2-0 in that series because of that restart. And I'm not going to say just because of the restart, but the restart had to play in it.
Was that the second game in the series then, or the first game?
I think it was the first,
Gotcha.
if I'm not mistaken. Yep, first map. So yeah, they lost 2-0. They lost the restart, and they lost the second game, obviously, and the Fnatic moved on. No, we don't know what would have happened, right? If the game just would have continued and Fnatic and Talentless only needed 48 points or whatever in that game 1. We don't know what would have happened. For all we know, we've seen comeback and strongholds games all the time. So anything could have happened. But the fact of the matter is momentum was basically just swept right under the rug for them. Well, the momentum rug was pulled from underneath them, and they lost it all, and they weren't able to recover. And that fucking sucks. So I appreciate the ad that Faceit made a statement. Hopefully, again, we've had issues in the past. They've been different rulings. They're not the same ruling, but hopefully this doesn't happen again. But if there's one thing I want to say, again, you can agree with me or not. I don't care. The fact of the matter is this. As Martin said, the admins are there to enforce the rules that are presented in front of them. Sometimes humans fuck up. Humans fail all the time. Shit happens. It really, really sucks that it was in a competitive environment. It really sucks. And hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And from that admin's perspective, not being able to jump is not a known bug or issue in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if it's being presented that way and with all the issues that do occur, I could see in a moment of pressure like that, trying to figure out what's going on, to being like, okay, he couldn't jump. The game wasn't letting him jump full replay. These are the new score lines, right?
Yeah.
You have to work with the information that's given to you in the moment. There's not a lot of,
The thing that I don't want to see anymore, and I know I'm going to see it anyway, but the thing I don't want to see anymore is what Frosty said. Just like Martin said, I don't want to see that shit anymore. No. If you have a problem with an admin, with an organization, whatever it is, be smart, be respectful, and voice your concerns properly. Seriously, I hate how that dumbass who was in here before and the people who think they're just above everything. You're not going to get anywhere. You're just not. So stop acting like it. Stop acting like an entitled little shit and just work with others. Seriously. Just work with others. Because I can't even imagine how... I'm not trying to make it so the Faceit admins are completely without fault, because they are with fault. That's been proven, right? But at the same time, it's I can't imagine how overworked they are. Trying to make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, honestly, we don't know if they're even fully staffed, right?
Nope. No idea.
Who knows how much participation they're getting?
Don't know if they're volunteers or not.
Volunteers, how, now you should know the rule set and what's going on.
Absolutely. That's why they're not without, that. I'm telling you, give it on both sides over here.
Yes. All right. That's all I got.
Is that it for the Tournament League recaps of the week? All right.
Jesus.
All right, let's go to our topic. This is where that Spartan tweet comes into play that has since been deleted. So, organizations and player relations. If there's one, I was thinking about this the other day, and if there's one thing I want to say is that I am so thankful that Micwin exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am so thankful that Micwin exists. The reason being is because he's been on both sides. So he's able to talk about both sides. Now, some side more than the other side, because, so for those who don't know, Mickwin used to work for 343. Mickwin is a professional Halo player. He's been in the scene for quite some time. And he currently cannot compete because he did previously work for 343. So he will be able to compete once Worlds has concluded. So really in the season 2 of the HCS. And the reason why I think Mickwin's a national treasure is because he's seen both sides, he's lived both sides, and he's able to talk about both sides in a clear, concise, respectful manner. He absolutely has grievances with the game. He absolutely has grievances with the competitive side of the scene. But the fact of the matter is he still wants to compete while still airing his frustrations respectfully. So the reason why I bring this up is because of the whole Rostermania situation and organizations and player relations, hence the name of the topic. And here's what Mickwin said. I understand orgs are providing stability in people's lives, and I understand they need to protect their business. It's a business. Mm-hmm. Worlds is really all that matters to us players. And ruining a season for any player in roster changes that the orgs have sole control over now is not okay. Once orgs are able to provide something of greater value to players in a world championship, this script will flip a fair amount, though. And then after Bubu Dubu's free agent announcement, this is what Mickwin said. Okay, so after this Rostermania and pains that have occurred between players and orgs, assuming Season 2 is similar in scheduling, this large break between the start of Split 2 need to be a trade window. Halfway through the season and Halo World Championship is coming up. Players like Bubu and No World should end up in a situation that, like he just tweeted, in my opinion. And I agree with him. We talked about it before, where this massive break between the end of KC and Orlando in September, right, is a huge potential to be that trade window.
Yeah.
Remember when, I don't even remember how long ago this was at this point. I think it was either right before Infinite came out or right as Infinite was coming out. You had talked about how our trade window is going to look like with contracts and organizations that are in play now and so on and so forth. What do you feel about what Mickwin was saying?
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
No, I've been saying it for a long time, and I don't know how far off we are in esports, and it's tough in esports because of the different way things functions between each game. But like some sort of players union or an agreement with organizations or whatever, the guidelines they have to follow, mm-hmm. so that players don't get dicked around, essentially. As there's nothing kind of governing that right now.
Absolutely.
It's leagues can have certain rules of what happens and what the orgs can do, but there's no like overall like this is what has to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does suck that you're right. Mickwin's right. Worlds is like the shiny prize at the end. And for someone to have a team change like this right before Worlds, it's tough without any say from them. And like I said it on Twitter, right? The orgs can do what's basically they want to do within the means of your contract. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. Like,
no, it's for better or worse. It's for better or worse.
So it's just that's the state of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is.
Before we continue, Shio, welcome to the live show. Good to see you, bud. Maddie says Bubu is scrimming with SSG against Sentinels right now, just an FYI, in place of Collect. And Collect was streaming matchmaking. He was asked if he's streaming scrims, and he says, I don't think we have scrims. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt as well. But if this roster was going to happen, this Bubu on SSG thing in place of Collect, we do know that Collect and Rami were like a duo.
Yeah.
And Rami got let go of SSG, and Collect was not
happy about it.
Not happy about it. Now he has since deleted those tweets as well, but has not been happy about it and was vocal. So who knows what's going to happen there?
But you had mentioned earlier he just played out of his mind in the in the tournament.
He did play out of his fucking mind. Hey, maybe he's trying to prove a point to be like, hey, come get me off this shitstorm. FaZe, I'm over here. Come get me. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Like it was mentioned before by players and other outlets, is Infinite seems to be a game of for like-minded individuals having to work together.
Yeah.
Right? Like if one person on the team is not feeling it, not matching the vibe, not working well with the other players,
can devastate a team.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the unfortunate part about having only 4 players. Maddie says, seems like Bubu's just shopping himself around. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Collect might know he's on the chopping block, but didn't want to say anything. Who knows? I mean, like I said, hopefully teams paid attention in that Pro Series event, because Collect is not that's like an angry Collect right now, right there. Okay, so that's Spartan tweet. I'll just quickly say it. So
it has been deleted.
It has since been deleted, yes. Okay. So the question was posed online. This tweet still exists, but Spartan asks, has anyone been paid from Anaheim and or KC? And no one has. No one's been paid from Anaheim and or KC. As of this point. Now, I did see that some people were saying that maybe it's like a net 90, like 90 days since, and then you'll get paid, which in my opinion is way too fucking long. I even think like net 30 is getting there. But I don't know the intricacies of that, right? So like I can't really talk to that. I just know that if I was a player and that was my job, I'd want to be paid because I have bills to pay.
Are they saying, I don't know if he's necessarily saying his salary. I think this is reward money.
Sure, regardless. Like, I would want to be paid.
Yeah.
Because I have shit to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's my job. I don't care if it's salary or winnings. It's money that I am owed. I want said money. I'm owed said money. And so, Soul Snipe replied with no. And then a fucking Spartan replied with, all right, just double checking E United wasn't fucking me harder than they already were. Burns of EU replied with, no, sir, salute emoji. Like that fucking's been going around. And then Spartan replied with, yeah, don't ever come into my mentions again.
Wonderful.
Yep, wonderful. Again, like I said, the main one of has anybody been paid yet, that still exists, but the other one is not there anymore. Justin says net 90 companies drive me nuts. Okay, so it sounds like it's a thing. So maybe it is net 90 then. Maddie says it's unfortunately a common thing in esports, and it fucking sucks, man. I just want the players to get paid what they're rightfully owed in a timely fucking manner.
I think the company I work for pays net 90 as well for
bonuses and whatnot.
No, just other companies. Like if I have to send one of my trucks up to get work on, it's net 90 for us to pay them.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Obviously we try to move faster. Like we move faster than the net 90 target, but that is we sign a net 90 term and then we try to pay it faster.
Okay. But yeah, net 90, man. That's 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it is insane.
Months. That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's a quarter of a year. Like, think about that. Holy shit. Like, I'm glad they're getting paid a salary. I mean, you know what? Can't believe I'm saying this. I actually kind of feel for Spartan in that regard because his salary got dropped to a motherfucker. And he needs those winnings, man.
Of his own doing.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying. Call JG Wentworth 877 cash now.
Sure.
It's his money and he needs it now. That's all.
I mean, he is owed a settlement.
Yeah.
Of winnings.
Oh, God damn it.
You could definitely call JG Wentworth.
JG Wentworth should be a sponsor of the HCS. The Halo World Championship 2022 is brought to you by JG Wentworth. Call 877 Now. Then one of the casters, 877 cash now. All right. But yeah, Mick national treasure. Hope he never fucking goes away. Love the insight that he brings, being on both sides of the situation, and agreed with him that hopefully things change. In season 2, that split 2 should be a trade window. I like that idea a lot. Now again, the problem though, right now, again, I very well probably wrong on this, but in my mind, going based off of what we've seen in season 1 so far, is that even if a trade window was opened by the HCS or whatever, it still always comes down to the organizations and their contracts. So even if a trade, like, this is just me thinking out loud, right? Even if a trade window existed for that split number 2 in season 2 of the HCS, what's to say that teams don't jump on it because of contracts that are already put in place for their players and they don't want to get rid of them? But then again, you could have another situation of a Spartan benching himself. You could have another situation of players just not shit literally hitting the fan. Who knows? It just sucks. It just fucking sucks. I want every team to gel together and fight for the fucking top. Justin says, this like your company, we do work for this one company that's always net day 90 of net 90. And like material has to be paid within the month and employees are paid bi-weekly. So sometimes sitting on that money owed sucks. Yep. Yeah.
I honestly think we sign, like, in our agreement terms, it's a net 90.
Sure.
But I know, like, when I submit my invoices, like, if I have a truck work done in June, we have to pay, like, we try to pay that invoice by the end of June. Like, it's so net 30 technically, but
yeah. So they try.
We try.
They just have a buffer.
It's really, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. Oh my God. All right. Anything else you want to add for the topic before we move on?
No. I'm good.
All right, let's go to some regular news.
Oh.
If I had any. So let's go to COD and Other Games. Watch. There's no news. There's no regular news. It's fucking insane. I know. Crazy. But for COD and Other Games Watch, like, if there was ever an announcement that I was unbelievably conflicted about, it's this one.
Yeah.
So ASIM has been dropped for Neptune on the LA Gorillas. This is by ASIM. He says, team unfortunately decided to go into stage 4 without me. Fully respect the team for their decision and got nothing but the utmost respect for this team and organization. Man.
Wasn't that the tournament they won? Wasn't ASIM, like, popping off?
Yeah.
Kind of like the collect situation?
Yes. And adding to that, if it was either that event, I think it was that event. I don't think it was the Toronto one, but I think it was that event that Neptune's team went undefeated in Challengers in that tournament.
You're right.
So for those who don't recall, Neptune, former Halo Pro, so obviously want to see him do well in any scene that he's a part of. So good for him for being picked up again. But ASIM originally started on the Minnesota Rocker when the COD League was originally formed. So ASIM has a soft spot in our hearts. And we always wanted to see him do well as well. I believe he had a stint on the New York Subliners before being moved to the LA Gorillas, after the Rocker, of course. And yeah, it just sucks. But you know what I will say, ASIM? You're a beast. Let's just be real here. But I also want to say this. That I want every single Halo Pro to pay attention and look at what ASIM said. Fully respect the team for their decision and got nothing but the utmost respect for this team and organization. What a statement. Now, granted, maybe the organization did treat him really well. But the fact of the matter is, that's how you do it. Right there. If I was another organization and I'm looking at ASIM right now, be like, man, that guy holds his head high. He's got the skills to pay the bills. Let's take a shot on him. That's how I look at that statement. Take note. But I feel for him. I really do. Congratulations to Neptune. I feel for ASIM, and I'm really conflicted. What do you think, Will?
This statement, this is how I feel about Halo Pros right now. The way
Careful with what you're about to say. Might get canceled, Will. Gotta be careful. I'm just giving you shit. Go ahead. Speak your truth.
The way the Halo Pros act, feel like
Not all.
Some of the way the Halo Pros
Body.
Fuck. It feels like they're the high school football team that they have that ego that they're the best and what they want. They're the kids that want whatever they want, right? Like
Yeah.
they're reaching for they feel like they know everything and they want everything that they want.
Yeah.
And it feels like these like some of it's not everyone, but some of the COD pros, the way things are, other esports, the professionals feel like professionals.
Mm-hmm.
And they act in that way like a college professional player or a actual professional player. The thing with me is it feels like Halo's never going to get out of that bottom tier echelon if things never change.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. In terms of ASIM's statement too, I don't want it to sound like his statement's the best thing in the world, because it obviously sounds like PR speak in a sense, but at the same time, this is what I'm talking about, where you're holding yourself in higher regard. Like this, it's, Maddie says, after going through Collect stream, he said he is going on vacation and they need a sub. Okay. Thank you for the update, Maddie. Just for me, when ASIM made that statement, that's what I would hope that Halo esports strives to become.
Yeah.
Where, you watch your professional sports team or whatever, like a traditional sports team, and you see a player or players or a coach or whatever it is go up to the podium and speak, right? Yeah, a lot of it sounds like PR speech, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that not everyone needs to fucking know about. You don't need to air your dirty laundry. And the fact of the matter is, these players are trying to get on a team so they can compete and they can do what they love to do, which is compete. At least I hope that's what they love to do. I hope that's why they're there, is they want to compete and win. Otherwise, what the fuck's the point? And to me, ASIM has proven time and time again that he has that mentality to want to compete, to win. And I look at that statement and I'm like, that's the type of player I want on my team. That's the type of player I want representing my organization. Right there. That's literally it. And yet in our scene, the one we talk about with Halo, it's why I said to Will that it's not every Halo player that is like this, right. But there are those bad apples that just fucking...
Well, like, look at what we're trying to... Like, what the HCS is trying to do. They're trying to bring around these top name esports brands to bring eyes onto Halo to grow the scene.
Yes.
And at what point...
And expand it into other regions, too.
What point do the orgs get tired of all this kind of BS that's happening and they're just going to start leaving?
And I also want to add that the orgs are not 100% without fault either.
No, not all the time.
No, exactly. So now we don't know the inner workings of what's happening in some of these situations, like a FaZe, like an E-United, whatever it may be. But this gets us all back to that whole the players sign a contract.
Yeah.
And if the contract is predatory, that shouldn't be a thing. Like, that shouldn't be allowed. And that fucking sucks. And I feel for you. I do. I wouldn't want to be put in that situation. But at the same time, you also need to take some responsibility in putting your signature on that document. Because you are the one. It was your decision to do that. You weren't coerced. You weren't forced to do it. You could have walked away. Would that have hurt potential other opportunities down the line? Absolutely. But at least you stood your ground. And to me, it's a give and take scenario. If an organization is trying to get you to sign a predatory contract, then it needs to be your responsibility to not sign such predatory contract. Hire a lawyer. Work with somebody to get your contract in a more negotiable status. I'm so conflicted because obviously I want what's best for the players. But I also obviously understand that orgs they're a business. They're there to make money. They're there to thrive. They're there to continue being in the space. Or if the space isn't sufficient for them, they're going to move. I just want to get the point across. I'm not against the fucking players here. It's just I'm against some of their actions.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
right.
Yeah.
Like we speculated before Infinite even came out. Like, oh man, what if HCS went the franchising route? Because franchising can work, but it also cannot. We had a major discussion on the show a long time ago about whether it be good or bad for the scene. And realistically, Halo's just not at a level where it would be viable. I mean, hell, we see it's not viable in some other major esports. So, but it's just sad. It's just fucking sad. I want what's best for the players, but some players' actions, and again, I'm not saying every organization is just fucking squeaky clean either, because that's not the case. But if you're a player and you want to be looked at by these other organizations who are looking for a potential player to ramp up their goal of winning, then you need to put yourself out there in a more positive light and not shit on the organization that you are still a part of. Regardless of frustrations. But again, I can't.
We're in the age of everyone just takes to Twitter to like you said, to put everything out. But like you said, not all the dirty laundry needs to be aired. Sometimes you got to work through that shit and get things solved. I don't know.
Right. That's it for me, is that there needs to be a better way of working these things out without having to air the dirty laundry on Twitter. Because when you air, or on any social media, or just airing it out in general, because when you air it out like that, you're not just painting the org in a bad light, you're painting yourself in a bad light because you're the one bringing it up. And other organizations will look at that and be like, I don't want that. What if they fucking say shit about us? I don't want that on my team. Like, yes, obviously I keep referencing the Spartan situation because that's like the most recent and most applicable thing to the situation right now. Like, I think he spoke with Jake Lucky and was talking about how teams like might view him as a liability. No fucking shit. I'm not even an organization. I view you as a liability, regardless of your fucking skill. I don't care. But at the same time, I want Spartan, I want other players in that type of similar situations to feel like they have a voice. Because they should have a voice. They should be able to voice their concerns in a constructive manner, and hopefully good change actually comes from it. Because otherwise we're just stuck in the same situation as we always will be, and nothing good's going to ever come of it. See, I want everything to be all right with it, with every single player, obviously, in a perfect world, right? I want organizations to be held accountable for their actions, good or bad. And you hit the nail on the head. Like you've talked about every fucking week, basically, is what it seems like, is that there needs to be some sort of players union or players association.
Because that's exactly what happens in the other leagues. If players have issues with the sport itself, the rule set, the teams, the manager, whatever, all that gets brought to the Players Association so that it can be presented properly to whoever needs to hear it.
If the HCS wants to be considered a viable esport in the years to come, if Halo wants to be considered a viable esport in the years to come, if Halo wants to grow into what we know the HCS team wants it to grow into, then I think that is a natural step. I don't know how big it would be because of how small the HCS is relative to all the other esports out there.
Right. That's the difficult
right
part of it, is that it's small. It's how do you have to get a different like players agreement or union for every esport? That seems impossible.
Right. And then you also have to take in the organizations into account, right? Like,
well, this is what the collective bargaining agreement for the NFL, that is between the players and the NFL. If the org stepped out of line, that's when they're fined by the NFL. So the head company, NFL, HCS, has authority over what those orgs are doing in their esport.
Yep. So Maddie says the only esport that has something like a union is CSGO, and it's not a union, it's a players association.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, what, you have the NFLPA?
Yeah.
You have the NBA, the MBPA. There needs to be a voice for the players so the players can air their grievances and their frustrations and their feedback to make the league a better place without having to resort to an online social media platform and dig themselves further into a hole that they never needed to be in the first place. Plain and simple. They need representation. 1000%. And I'm with you. I don't think this esport will be considered. Legitimate's not the right word, but unless it has a players association, unless it has a group of people to relay this information and make actual change possible within the league, then I don't see this surviving past the 10-year lifespan of Infinite or whatever the fuck it's actually going to be. I mean, not even taking into consideration like the kind of slowing down of where we were like from Raleigh to now.
Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, right? Just in terms of the esport in general, we're not having a lot of content come out, and this is a live service game. Now, we know that a lot of that has to do with previous development and contract work and things being kind of a shit show over there with 343. Not blaming anyone. It's just the nature of the situation, which sucks. And they said how they have to slow down before they can speed up. They want to make sure all their ducks are in a row. They want to have all the systems in place so they can make the changes quicker as time goes on. But we know the attention span of people these days. It's getting shorter and shorter.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to move on. People have already moved on. And if they seriously, and I don't think we're like a No Man's Sky situation where that game was an absolute disaster on launch and then built itself back up, or MCC where it was a disaster on launch and it built itself back up. We have that foundation, right? We say it all the time. The foundation's rock solid, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? But I truly believe, like you said, that there needs to be a player representation of some kind to be the mediating voice of the player to the organizations, to the HCS as a whole, and real change needs to happen. And unless that happens, like I said, I don't see the HCS getting to heights that they want it to get to. Because we're just going to have this every single fucking year. I feel like.
I don't know. I get that. I get too that. Like COD has the players literally get fined if they speak out about anything, right?
That sucks too.
That sucks. But to be honest, it presents your esport better to have some sort of control over basically defamation of your league.
Right. And so we're treading a fine line here because I don't want to say that players' voices should be suppressed.
No, they should just be brought to the right channels. That's the thing. The online channel isn't necessarily the right channel.
Yes. And there's a big difference between a league being like, you can't defame our organization, like our league, regardless of what's said. Because it now, from what it sounds like, I don't know, but because I don't know how they're fined or whatever, but from what it sounds like, any sort of criticism is a finable offense. And to me, that shouldn't be allowed whatsoever.
Right.
And that's where that fine line is, right? Because I know you're not saying that players' voices should be suppressed. They should be relayed in a better avenue. I do believe that players should be fined if they're fucking terrible. Like if you're gunning for somebody personally, if you're asking for somebody's job, like saying that they should lose their job, if you were going after the people that make the game, whatever it may be, there are certain offenses that absolutely 100% unequivocally should be a finable offense.
Right. And I mean, the HCS does have that, as we saw.
Yes. And I also believe that players should be able to discuss online frustrations that they have. But that's, again, where that fine line is on, okay, you've aired your frustration in a constructive manner. When do you need to take a step back and be like, all right, I'm going to shut the fuck up about this? Because if I keep talking about this, I'm going to get heated, right? And then you have a player. That's where the Players Association comes into play. You're able to air everything out to that. There's that. Justin says, what about an all-encompassing esports player representation? A resource for all esports players to use and have like membership or something. Maybe a % of salary goes towards it. So bigger esports pay a little more to help the smaller guy. But the smaller guy's still paying. And I'm talking official leagues. Your run-of-the-mill small-time tournaments don't need to worry about it. But leagues like Halo or COD or Siege are all official leagues. Maddie says leagues are not going to pay for player associations.
Yeah.
And then Justin says, that's why I'm saying official leagues are forced into it somehow. Legal lingo. Maddie says unions are paid for by the employees. The CSGO one is just done out of the kindness of the people's hearts, which is crazy. And then Justin says, I know, I'm just dreaming. I also think there's a difference between defamation and calling something trash, like going after someone personally. Absolutely. Here's a fine. But calling this game mode trash in the leagues run by dum-dums, that's just speaking. Just crappy all around. Like realistically, I don't know where season 2 of the HCS goes. Like same, but other locations. I don't know what they'll do to draw more interest.
Yeah. But when you have someone like a pro who's playing the game constantly, their word does hold more value.
You're a face of the league.
You are the attraction of what brings people in.
That's the thing. This is
and
why
if you're saying it's bad, then one, why are you there? Why are you playing it? And then that's if you have a fan who's like, why? Okay, all of a sudden Lucid's just like going off about how bad, and he does talk about problems with the game, but he doesn't like.
He's controlled.
He's controlled. He doesn't go in.
He's
on
reserved.
But if he just starts bashing it left and right, tweeting about it, like if me as a fan was going to be like, okay, well then, like if I'm a fan of just Lucid, then I'm like, okay, well then I'm not watching Halo anymore. Like it is defamation of the league in a way, even, I don't know.
So that brings me back to the whole, like, I hated how Frosty spoke about the admins.
Yeah.
This brings it all back to that because he carries weight within the league. His voice carries weight, for better or for worse. He's a phenomenal player. I don't want to get shit twisted. He's an unbelievable talent.
Yeah.
Okay? Arguably one of the best, if not the best, in the game. I think a lot of people are focusing a lot on the Lucid versus Renegade thing. Go watch Frosty. Kid ain't slowing down. But the reason why I'm so upset about what he said about the admin situation is because of what I see on Reddit, of what I see on Twitter, is everybody that's jumping on that and are fans of his and are like, man, they can't fucking do anything right. They should fire everybody and just start anew. I can't believe this is still an issue. Oh, they said they're going to fix it. I bet this happens next week. Blah, 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 blah. So that's why I said for Frosty to stop being a little bitch, because your voice carries weight. It's frustrating. It's fucking frustrating. Justin says, well, yes, but I don't see anybody sitting there with a smile while the game's glitching out, but I agree. Right. There's constructive ways to bring up issues. There is. And that's why you have a difference between a Lucid, a Snakebite, versus a Spartan, versus a Frosty. While they're all phenomenal players, they all just speak in different ways. They all relay their feedback. They relay their frustration in different ways. And in my opinion, some do it better than others. I don't care how niche this platform is. Your voice carries weight. Think about something before you say it. Frustrations run high. Tensions run high. I understand that. I say wrong shit all the time on this show. Just think about it first, please. Mickwin's a national treasure.
Yes.
And I hope he never leaves this scene.
We need him.
We need him.
Well, let's see, like, I remember when all the original drama was going on between Sentinels and Spartan, and like Snipedown was a level-headed voice for a while there too.
You mean E United and Spartan? Or
remember when, like, what? I remember this when we were at the freaking gym.
Okay.
And a member of Sentinels and Spartan were just going back and forth on Twitter.
Okay.
And like Spartan chimed in over the whole, or not Spartan, Snipedown chimed in over the whole situation and was very like level-headed about the drama.
Telling you. Some people do it better than others, in my opinion. And there's one point I want to get across, is that I never, ever want players to feel like they can't voice their opinion on something. Because or anybody for that matter, anybody to be able to voice their opinion on something, because things don't change. Things don't get better unless opinions are voiced, for better or for worse. But I also believe there's a good and a bad way to do that, to relay that information, to voice your opinion. And in this scene specifically, I just want everybody to just do better. That's all. And I'd love for a players association to exist.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
I just don't know if it's feasible. The funny thing is too, I don't remember where I saw this, but I saw a post where someone was like, oh, there's so many the pros have so many more problems with the game than they did back in the day and whatnot. And someone commented underneath who was an old Halo pro and was like, no, we just didn't have Twitter to go bitch on all the time. And it's like people regard those Halo 2, Halo 3 days in such high, or hold them in such high regard.
Oh, yeah.
Same shit was going on behind the scenes, just no one knew about it because social media.
Absolutely. Yep.
Anyway. I feel like I've talked enough tonight.
No, I think we had good discussion, to be honest with you. I think we did. I think we brought to light some heavy topics, heavy things to think about. And we know it's never going to be perfect, but we can at least work on trying to make it better. So that includes players, the organizations, the HCS, everyone. And in a roundabout way, that's it for Count Other Games Watch. Which really just looped back into the topic.
We did.
And then came back here.
Anyway.
So without further ado, it's time for Will's Adventures with the Nailovers. And no other games, too, except for me. So go ahead. Will, what did you play last week?
Play Halo Infinite.
Wait, you like the game? You're not allowed to like the game, Will.
Yeah. No, I do enjoy the game. I played some ranked. I finished my challenges. Just chilling on Halo. I guess I did play like a couple matches of Rainbow Six, but I didn't feel like it was enough to where like I played Rainbow Six. I mean, I did, but like I wasn't really into like hardcore into it. What else? I feel like I maybe played something else, but I don't remember. Nah.
You Rock Band.
Oh yeah, I played Rock Band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Working on my singing. Having a good time. Yeah, I did play some Rock Band. Yeah, that's it. What about yourself?
I played some Halo Infinite as well, and I wanted to make this point known because there has been a change to the game that I think has been done for the very much better. And Uni has come out and said that this was all based off feedback that was given, and they're still making adjustments. So I got to give credit where credit is due to the Halo Infinite team. Obviously, I wish it was never like this. Like, I wish you never got to this point to begin with. But the fact of the matter is this did get updated. The challenge system. As much as I despise the challenge system as a whole, they did make a change that is for the better, in my opinion. Because I was able to complete every single challenge for the week, including the capstone, in one 2.5 hour play session.
Yeah.
On Friday.
I told you I did mine in 2.
Yep.
What I didn't mention is I did all of them but 1 and the capstone in the first play session. Yep. So I could have easily finished it off in 1 play session. But yeah, it was a breath of fresh air, like just to be able to knock through them. A lot of them pertain to land grab, which was the entrenched.
I was able to do all of them in land grab. Now, let's let the record know that I used 1 swap. I had a challenge to get 10 rocket launcher kills, and I'm like, no. So I just swapped it, and it was like, get kills in general or just play matches. And I'm like, all right. So yeah. I got every single one of them done in the land grab playlist, which again is good and bad, but
I think I did all of mine in the land grab except my last one, which was play 3 free-for-all matches.
Okay.
And then, of course, the capture 3 zones one in land grab was super easy. So.
Yeah, the capstone was capture 3 zones. That's it. Wonderful. More like that, please. So yeah, thank you to the 343 team on actually listening, because give them a lot of shit, but I will say this. Yes, guys, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't work for them, but they do listen. They do. And yeah, they even listen to the shitters too. But they listen and they gather all of the feedback. And this change was based off said feedback. So keep the feedback coming constructive and respectful. and things will still be tweaked. Again, hopefully for the better. They could revert shit, but I'm not saying they are. I just hope they don't. And then I played some Guild Wars 2 because I just hopped back into that for I don't even know why. But I think that game is the best looking MMO. Period. Game's art style is phenomenal. And I like the combat too. So I just hopped in there, did some exploring. It's a fun time. That's why I played. Well, let's get into some shoutouts. Shout out to everyone who joined in the community played it. It was Will. It was, oh my God. Why am I blanking out on this right now? I feel so mad. I feel so mean. We had a full party. Who the fuck was it with us? Pancakes. That's it. Shout out Pancakes. Yeah, we cranked out match after match after match of land grab. Shout out to everyone who followed and subbed during the live show. Raider Hater with the fucking Primer 7-monther. Thank you so much. And then Pat Diesel. Ooh, yeah. Diesel. Diesel Daddy. Thank you for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Congratulations to Pro Ace Joker. Old name in the scene. On joining 343 as a playtest coordinator. Congratulations to you, sir.
All right.
And then happy belated Father's Day to all the daddies out there.
You had to do it.
I did. I even typed it out like that. I had to do it. Community creations, Halo memes every day, red.com/r/Halo memes. Go check those out. Clips of the week number 162 by High Tech Redneck. That released today. Something really fucking cool. Halo Infinite Observer tool by Halo Creation says, hey, Halo tournament organizers. I'm building a tool so we can automatically display the current POV's username and team in a viewers-friendly manner. And I would need a few testers to try it out and provide feedback. So if you want to test it out and provide feedback, check out the link in the Google Doc of the show notes of the show. ! Show notes in chat. Or if you're watching the VOD or checking out the audio version of the show, it's in the description. It's right there. Just scroll down, click on it. Bada bing, bada boom. Scroll down. It's right there. The HCS Instagram has officially launched. Will?
Yeah.
It's by Muggsy. Go check it out. If you want to get your Halo picture goodness of the HCS variety, go follow the Instagram. And then finally, the Frosty Halo Infinite montage. This is edited by Snipetality. The only thing I'm going to say, the only criticism I'm going to give of this montage is I wish it was longer. That's all. I just wish it was longer. I wish it just kept going. There's something about a Halo montage that just hits you right in the fucking feels. And it was a good watch. I just wish it was longer. The plays were outstanding. Obviously, it's fucking Frosty. And of course, the edits were great too by Snipetality. Well, that's all I got for the community creations, for the show, for me ranting. That's it. That's all I got. Right. So if you wouldn't mind doing me, the listeners, a solid and plug the show.
Of course. You can find us on your favorite podcast services like
Pocket Cast,
which is Josh's.
It is.
You can find us on Discord. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch. You can find us at hcsprotalk.com. You also can find us over with the fine folks at Podcast Evolved. Make sure to check out evolvedhalo.com.
Your home for Halo!
For their great shows, such as Podcast Evolved, Mission Debrief, Halo TV Plus, Book Club, Build with Blocks, and Halo Headlines.
Will, I need to update it because that's not all.
But wait, there's more?
There's more. They also have Halo Gear Guide, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
so yeah, I'll add that to our template for the show notes. But it's a look into Halo collectibles and memorabilia. Halo Gear Guide. Go check that out too.
Awesome.
I love their website, man. Looks so good.
It's good stuff.
So good.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
Oh God, that's it.
We're there.
What's up, Silos? Welcome to the end of the show. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for episode 240 of HCS Pro Talk. I want to thank you very much for listening. I want to thank you very much for watching. If you're tuning in live, like Silo says at the very end here, thank you all so very much. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't be a shitter like that individual. And yeah. If you're watching the VOD, if you're listening to the audio version of the show, I hope you're also having a phenomenal day, night, weekend, week, whatever it may be. If you're in a very hot part of the country right now, I hope you were staying as cool as possible. Getting serious for a second here, depending upon where you live in the country, or around the world for that matter, if you are in a dangerous heat area, like I just said, heat can be very dangerous. So be as careful as you possibly can, stay as cool as you possibly can, and wishing you guys all the best. Yeah. Hopefully this temperature turns around because holy moly, is it scorching over here. Guys, we'll be back next week. Talk about whatever the fuck happens in this scene that, yes, believe it or not, we still love. But until then, like Justin said, have a good night, everyone. Everyone. Except Silos.
Oh, no.